Welcome to the Degenerate Gamblers, man. College basketball, that's all we're doing right now. I'm here with my boy Steve Valente, who was absolutely spot on last week about North Carolina and Pittsburgh. He was spot on because, we knew it would be tough.
Yep.
It's tough playing in Pitt, but look, man, North Carolina, he admitted they don't have the horses this year.
Definitely don't have them.
And we'll talk a little bit about them in their big game Saturday, which hopefully we'll see some fist fights. That's what it's all about when Duke plays North Carolina. But look, let's talk about last night quickly. I want to talk about a banger I had right off the bat. I went hard the paint with New Jersey Institute of Technology, NJIT.
Boys.
Dude, I love them. They played Massachusetts Lowell last night, who was like 17-4. And the line was NJIT plus 10.5 at home. I took the money line, plus 450, and they won by 20.
20.
I mean, yeah.
21 actually, Howie.
Last night was a wild night, brother. You had my old stomping grounds. One of the teams, I had one of the worst college games I ever had when I played. Binghamton, SUNY Binghamton, or whatever the hell they call themselves now.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, Binghamton University.
Yeah.
They're all prestigious out there in Binghamton.
I wasn't smart enough to get in there. But they played UVM last night, Vermont. They're plus 6. Bang, smacked them at home. And I've been saying this all year long. Vermont's not the team they have been the past 10, 15 years.
Yep. You said it last week.
Yeah, they're not going to win that conference. I mean, they lost to Binghamton. They lost to Binghamton. Binghamton was a school that we always, at Cortland, we knew we would get a W when we played Binghamton. That was just,
Howie, my boy Tiki Mabin was back at Binghamton back in like the mid-2000s. I think it was like 07, 08, something like that. When they made the tournament, their whole team was drug dealers. They were all a bunch of drug dealers.
Drug dealers. First of all, Tiki Mabin ran into the law once or twice.
Yeah, a couple times.
He got caught with a joint behind his ear and 2 line layups, forgetting he left it there. I liked him. He was a good player. He was a really good player. He distributed the ball well.
Great
and I want to say that was the year they made the tourney and lost to Duke by what, 88?
Yeah. Yep. They lost to Duke. But I think they lost to I'm not 100% sure, but the Delgado kid that was also another sharp guard that also was a drug dealer. I don't know if he got injured in that game or he wasn't full health, but yeah, they got smacked by Duke.
That team got in so much trouble. Here's what happened with that team. I had a friend who was an assistant coach there then. And they had like 4 foreigners on the team. They had like 2 6'8" Russians, 1 6'9" Lithuanian, who actually killed a guy in downtown Binghamton on a Friday night. And before they could even arrest him, he was on an airplane back to Slovakia, wherever the fuck he was from.
It's like Anchorman, how it's like, kill the guy with a trident. Like, what's going on here?
Oh, he actually, when I say murdered a guy, it was I think he got in a fight with a bouncer downtown in Binghamton. Yeah, and I think, first of all, you're a bouncer from New York. Dude, don't fight a Slovakian.
Don't do it.
Don't fight a guy that sounds like Arnold Schwarzenegger, man. They're going to do bad shit to you.
They're battle-tested.
Yeah, they grew up when they were 6 seeing guys get lined up and shot. This guy he was a good player too, but he beat up a bouncer, killed him, and then fled. I don't think they've ever heard from him since. But that was probably the best. No, that was the best team in Binghamton history.
Oh, history.
They just got these degenerates from all. I think Tiki Mabin was on his 9th school.
Just like us, Howie.
Yeah, right there with him, baby.
Like us.
I like that kid. He was a good guy. He never turned the ball over. He was a really good guy.
He played at Troy High with a cousin of mine. They won the sections Tiki's freshman year. Boeheim had him verbally committed, and then he got in a fist fight at Boston Spa, and Boeheim pulled his scholarship the next day.
Well, didn't my boy Dickie Hurley coach him? Wasn't Dickie the coach there then?
No. He was at McGinn with Taylor Battle.
Oh, yeah.
But he did coach. He coached at Troy High after the fact.
My boy Softshell. God, I haven't seen Softshell in 25 years.
Still doing it, man. He's still got that fire.
Is he
No, he's
coaching
not
still?
coaching. No, he settled down. His son got a scholarship to Carolina to play baseball. Kid's like a junior throwing 94, 95.
No way.
Yeah,
North Carolina?
North Carolina got
Hurley's
him a full
kid?
ride. Yeah, good.
Hurley
ball
was a
player.
good baseball player, man.
Yeah, kid's a good ball player. He was hurt, back injury for like a year and like a body cast. Couldn't do anything. Stopped playing hoop. Now he's pitching, throwing.
I gotta friggin' hit Hurley up. We were playing a 3-on-3 game one time, and I slapped him in the head, and he had a concussion for 17 weeks. And then he told me he had part of his head. We called him soft shell. He had one of those heads where there was a little spot where you could put your finger through to his brain.
Yeah.
So I'm like, dude, you should play 3-on-3 with one of those helmets that one of my kid wore for his first 9 years of his life. Just so you don't hurt yourself.
I think I'm still wearing one.
Yeah. So let's get into it, man. Let's get into last night. It was dog night. You had Binghamton +6 covered. 1. Ohio State +3. Smacked the shit out of Penn State.
Smacked them.
I had the over in the Grand Canyon Seattle game last night, over 141. They scored 160. Look, whenever Grand Canyon plays anyone, look at the over-under. Grand Canyon, they just get out, run, shoot. They don't care. It reminds me a little bit of that Loyola Marymount team. I mean, they just run and
With
gun.
Mathers?
Yeah, this team plays like it. There's no off. They just run and shoot. So we smacked that over last night. Tonight.
Hold on, Howie. The mayor got it done, too. He was Fred Hoiberg, Nebraska won at home in overtime against Illinois.
Yes.
Getting points.
I didn't touch that game. The game scared me. I looked at it back and forth.
Nebraska's
I'm like,
always tough at home.
They are. They got shooters.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to the Kung Fu kid, the Japanese kid that played there last year, the lefty? Where's he now? Is he in the league?
My buddy Tooley would know.
I got to find out. That kid can play, man.
Yeah.
That kid could shoot.
Give us some homework.
Dude, he could shoot. Last night, a lot of dogs last night. Tonight's not a bad slate for a Friday because they finally are stacking it with Ivy League. They're finally stacking it with MAC.
Yep.
And then we got Purdue, Indiana. I'm going to start right off with a 5 o'clock game. My good friend is the color commentator on the game, Noah Savage. He's doing the game for ESPN. And it's his old alma mater. Princeton is playing Yale. You have Princeton at home +3.5. You haven't seen that in years. They're a dog at home. They dominated that league with Yale.
Better record.
Yeah, good record, solid. And I think they're in trouble. Yale is, they played Purdue very tough. Yale just has better players this year. And Princeton has had some issues. And I actually talked to Noah about it. They're going to have a tough time. The line, I feel, should be higher, probably 6.5, 7. They're giving it it's definitely lower because it's being played at Princeton. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to tell you right now, I like Yale in this game. I like Yale to win. I like them to cover the 3.5.
Princeton's 3-7 in their last 10 against the number, 2-7 at home in their last 9.
I was talking to him like, dude, this is just not the normal Princeton team that we see. I'm like, you need to suit up again. He was a hell of a player, man. He was. He could play. I played with him in New York, and he's 6'7", 6'7", shoots the shit out of it, and he's big. Can't stop him. But you got that game. You have a few more games. I love this game. Georgetown and Butler. Butler's going to
Georgetown. Yeah,
and St. John smacked them. That game was over before it started.
When you texted me, you texted me, Johnnies are off to a great start. Was it 20-3 or 23-3? It didn't get better. It was 34-9, 40-13. It was just, look, St. John's. I looked the other day. Uncle Rick's got him playing, Howie. Uncle Rick's got him playing ball.
For anyone listening, and I'm putting this out on our Discord, if you like what you hear, hit the like button below. Follow Howie Dewey. Join us on the Degenerate Gamblers on Whop.com. I'm putting this out today. You could get, at least 2 days ago, I looked, St. John's was plus 3,500 to win the national championship. Are you kidding me?
We could go there plus 5,000 and you
Yeah,
take people.
yeah. I mean, you have to lay some wood on that. You have to.
Yep.
You gotta put that bet in. You have to. I mean, that's ridiculous. They have a shot. I mean, I think there's 5 to probably 10 teams, maybe 15, that could win it.
Yep.
Obviously, Auburn with Brooms back is solid. They have a great guard. I mean, although they won by 13 against LSU 2 nights ago. I actually had LSU plus 12.5. They had the lead early.
Gotcha, man.
Yeah, but I think Auburn can be beat.
Yep.
I like the value on St. John's. Are you kidding me? You got to lay something on that. I mean, I'd rather take them than Duke at 300 or Auburn at plus 400.
Right.
And then again, Houston. I mean, grab them while you can. Plus 900, I think. You got to grab that. But so we go into, that's the Ivy League game I like. Now we have some MAC games tonight, Steve. This is your neck of the woods right here in Albany. Sienna's on the road.
Marist.
Playing Marist, who's 15-3. Marist is this is the best team they've had since Rick Smits.
Rick Smits, yeah.
Yeah, the Flying Dutchman.
Yes.
That team played in the tournament years ago and lost opening round to Georgia Tech with Bruce Dalrymple and the boys, John Sally. But you got Marist 15-3, but they're 9-9 against the spread. Sienna's 9-11, but 12-7 against the spread. And the Saints are on the road getting plus 5.5. I'm taking them.
7-3 in their last 10 on the road, Howie.
Look, Jerry McNamara, say what you want. First year there, he's got them playing.
100%.
They don't turn the ball over. They play decent defense, and they're in every game. I love them plus 5.5. And you know what? I'll toss in a little money line bet right now. Yeah, a little upset on the road. Headed down to Poughkeepsie.
Yeah,
plus 210? Absolutely.
Yep. Not a bad number, Howie. There's some value there. And they're not going too far from home. It's just a hop, skip, and a jump. The old beautiful Poughkeepsie, New York from Albany, New York.
Yeah.
Beautiful this time of year, Howie.
Yeah, no, Hudson. Oh, what a shithole.
Shithole.
Jesus. Yeah, Poughkeepsie, New York. Anyone that's ever been in Poughkeepsie, I don't know. Great IBM plant.
Beautiful.
And if you own IBM stock, you were cranking yesterday because it was up like 5.5%. We didn't have calls on it on my other podcast of the Cash Daddies. But so I like them. I like them money line. I like them plus 5.5. I'll sprinkle them. I'll sprinkle them to win. Other game I like tonight. Look, this is a line that is shady. Indiana's a decent squad, not bad. Purdue, good team. Purdue's at home laying 12 points to Indiana. I would have thought that line would be 7, maybe 7.5, 12 points. And it's such a trap game. I'm taking Purdue.
Trap. It's a trap game. They want you to feel scared about it because of what Purdue did against Michigan their last game. But Howie, Indiana's not playing great basketball of late. They're in games, but they're not winning these tight games. And like we said last week, Purdue at home is tough. Purdue at home, those Boilermaker fans, they travel, man. And obviously they don't have to travel, but I went to a game a couple years ago in Mohegan Sun. It was full of Boilermakers, full of them for a tournament there. So
those schools out there that travel, like Michigan State travels insane. When they play in New York City at the Garden, it's packed with green and white. Ohio State, of course, when they're good, they travel. But Indiana, you'll see them. They'll play well for a half or even 3 quarters, and then they'll have a 3-minute stretch where they'll get beat 12-0.
Yep,
13-0.
And there's your line.
And that's it. So I do think this is a trap. It smells so bad.
Stinks.
I'm taking Purdue because watch them win by 25. And Mike Woodson's he's on the hot seat there. Mostly, they have good players. The big guy in the middle, I think they played in Atlanta somewhere in the Bahamas, and they said their big guy was out like partying every night till 4 or 5 in the morning. Like it was all over the news. Like he doesn't give a shit. He's just out chasing ass, drinking rum and cokes. And so I think Woodson's getting some shit for this whole thing. But look, can you imagine trying to control your college hoops team on the road at a really cool place nowadays?
Right.
It's like, hey, Bobby, I need you in bed at 10. Coach, I'm making $2.3 million this year. I think you need to go to bed.
Coach, we're in Bloomington, Indiana most of the year. I'm in the Bahamas. I'm staying out as late as I want, and you're not going to say anything to me.
I'm just going to run around and bang hot ass and drink mojitos, man. Look, I'll get my 15 and 10. We win. We lose. Who gives a shit?
That's right. Right.
I took $100,000 of my salary. I put it into a 30-year annuity. I can go back home, so it's good.
That's it.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see a lot of these coaches and where they end up in the future. I can't imagine coaching kids in this environment, and most of these coaches, that's why we're seeing them leave.
Yeah.
But let's get into. So, do you like anything else tonight?
No, I'm good.
Yeah, it's a light. I mean, I like 4. Right, like I say, I like. Oh yeah, Manhattan's playing Iona. They're home.
Yep.
I like Manhattan. They're +1 a little bit. I like them at home, but basically, I like Purdue. I like Siena. And I like Georgetown rebounding against Butler. -3.5 at home. Coming off that loss against St. John's, I think they rebound and win tonight. But let's get into Saturday, because Saturday's insane. Let's talk about the only 2 games that I see lines on right now. One of them is your team.
Yep.
The Tar Heels going to Cameron Indoor Arena.
Yep.
+13.5. What do you think?
Howie, I got, I wanted to mention this. So I got my Carolina hat on, but I got the fatigues on, right? It's even under the brim, right?
Nice.
People at home looking. Us common folk, us simple men always equate these big games, these big, rivalry games as going to battle, right? Going to war, going to battle. But for us, it is like that. This Duke-Carolina rivalry, to me, it's second to none. You can't even compare it with any other rivalry in sports. Maybe Michigan, Ohio State now.
Maybe Auburn, Alabama. That might be it.
Maybe Auburn, Alabama. Right. War Eagle, Roll Tide. But this game, it 13.5, how it just seems like a ton of points for a team that, yes, they don't cover. Yes, they're not great, but they're not covering at, -2.5 or +2.5. They're not. 13.5 is a lot of points to give a North Carolina team in this rivalry. If it was 2020 and it was Cole Anthony and Armando Bacot's first year, I could say, yeah, they lost by 21. I get it. You're gonna just lay the points. The biggest thing that scares me is North Carolina does not have an answer for Cooper Flagg. That kid's the real deal, and they don't have anybody that can match up with him on the defensive end. Nobody. They don't have anybody with the height, the length, the quickness. They've got no one. Cooper Flagg could go off for 40 in this game.
Well, and the other big guy down low for Duke's going to be a problem. I see Duke kicking Carolina's ass on the boards, but I see R.J. Davis having a huge game. These Duke's guards aren't as good as North Carolina's.
No,
they're not.
And that's where North Carolina does have an advantage with Ian Jackson, the freshman, and R.J. Davis in his 15th year of college. But
Dude.
RJ's got to go off for 25 plus for them to stay in this game.
Yeah, he's been there. He's been to Duke a few times.
Yep, couple.
Over the 4 or 5 over the past few years.
Fifth year,
Yeah. So I mean, I agree. I actually like North Carolina +13.5. I could see. Hey, look, could they win this game? Absolutely.
Sure, they
could. They could pull it off. Look, if you watch Duke against NC State the other night, NC State could have won that game.
100%.
That game was tight going in the last 2 minutes. Cooper Flagg went off, but NC State could have won that game. That game was tight. They covered easily.
I'm going to tell you right now, Howie, here's a line to look at. Over-under of 150. These two teams love to get up and down the court. They like to score it, and especially in this rivalry. North Carolina is going to push, and Duke's not going to back down. They're going to push back. I like the over 150 is what I'll put my money on in this game so I can root for the rest.
Okay. All right. Over 150. I kind of I can see a final score of 87-80.
Yep.
Something like that. Absolutely. So
way over.
That's a good game. I think that's at 6:30. I believe.
6:30.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then the late game, the other line I have, the late game, 9:30 game, you got Arkansas plus 10.5 at Kentucky.
Yep. John Cal going back to Rupp Arena.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. I don't know how this is. I'm going to watch this game. Arkansas hasn't been playing well. They're not panning out. They don't play together as a team.
Nope.
Did
any of Cal's teams ever play together? I mean, arguably, you could say in the last 15 years at Kentucky, he had the most talent to ever come out of college basketball, and had one title to show for it.
Yeah, I'm not a Cal fan.
No, never have been. I wish John Chaney whooped his ass back in the 90s.
He did. Yeah, he should have beat the shit out of him at that press conference.
That's right.
He literally was like, "You little bitch, boy," and he went after him. Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah, Calipari's the only guy. I remember as a kid, I went to 5-star basketball camp, and the one thing I could do is shoot the rock. Mm-hmm. I could shoot the rock. I mean, that's it. I could shoot from, and that's what I did.
Yeah.
So he literally was trying to change my shot, and he told me some dumb. He goes, "No, make your thumbs like it." And I'm looking at him like, "You're out of your mind."
Yeah.
Like, no.
I got your thumbs.
No, I'll
thumbs and get the fuck out of here.
I'll transition and get a big rack before I change my jump shot, pal. I'll pack a vagina before you change this fucking jumper. No, not even thinking. I got
one thing and one thing only, and you ain't messing with it.
Yeah, I remember going home telling my old man, I was like, "Dad, he's trying to change my shot." He said, "Nah, don't. I don't know what the hell he's talking about."
Howie, I think Kentucky could lay the wood in this game. I think these fans are going to be rabid. They're going to be vicious. They're going to be going for blood. Calipari left. They wanted him to leave, but he took players with him. Kentucky's playing good basketball right now. Arkansas is not, like you said, 2-8 in their last 10 against the number going into Rupp Arena.
Yeah, they could get rolled.
Get rolled. And Mark Pope is trying to make a name for himself. Let's not be, this guy was, the third in line maybe possibly to take that job over. They settled for Mark Pope, who is an alum there, who is a national championship winner there under Rick Pitino back in the 90s. I like Mark Pope as a coach. He did good at BYU.
Great coach.
He's got his boys playing well, scoring the ball, scoring it well. I think they win this one. I think they cover the 10.5.
Good coach. You got Lamont Butler and the boys. I mean, they're healthy. They're playing well. I mean, they beat Tennessee. They're good.
Scored. Would they score 77 against Tennessee?
Yeah, I mean, I think this team gets a decent seed in the tourney, and I mean, that's a Final 8, Final 4, possibly team. I mean, they're good. 100%. That's another one we got to look at.
They scored 78 against Tennessee, which Tennessee held Auburn to 53, like we mentioned last week.
Yeah. So, I like this team. So we get into it. I'm going to give you some games. I don't have lines on; they're not out, but these are some interesting games, man. You got Florida.
Yep.
Visiting Tennessee at noon. And I like this game because you want to talk about a revenge factor. Tennessee went into Florida, 2 weeks ago and lost by 30? Mm-hmm. Just got blasted by Florida. So now Florida's back at Tennessee. I mean, I can see Tennessee. This line's going to be Tennessee probably -6, 6.5, because Vegas isn't stupid.
Yeah.
You guys listening, you can follow. I mean, I think they're going to be -6, -6.5, maybe higher, maybe 7 or 8 against. And I like Tennessee at home. They're going to be out for blood.
Yep, I agree. I think they lock this Florida offense down, and I don't know that they cover the number, but I think they win this game. They win a close one.
Same thing at noon. We got Providence at St. John's.
The Johnnies back in the Garden.
And I mean, let me tell you, they have a following now. They're starting to pack everything out. People are on the Rick Pitino bandwagon.
Yep.
Providence, I believe they're coming off a win. I think.
Providence is coming off 2 in a row, but barely beat Seton Hall. And then obviously last Saturday smacked Georgetown at home.
It's tough. St. John's coming off a huge win. Look, man, I'm on the St. John's bandwagon. Don't be surprised if this line's like 12.5, 13.
I was going to say at least 10 plus.
Yeah, I think so. And I would probably look at taking them. The other game I like right here, and I don't even know what the line is, but I'm going to guess. We have Pitt coming off that, game again. They beat North Carolina, right?
Beat
so
them.
Now they got to go to Wake Forest.
Carolina was up 10 at one point in that game.
I know, I saw that. And now they got to go to Wake Forest. Wake Forest is solid at home.
Solid at home.
Got
good guard play.
Wake's probably they're going to be probably -5.5, 6. I couldn't bet Pitt there at Wake. I couldn't bet them at Wake. I think Wake probably beats them.
Yeah. What time's that game?
That game's at noon.
Nooner.
Noon. Yep. I got here's a New York one. Your boy down at Fordham. He's got a tough one this weekend. He's got to go to St. Bonaventure, worst place in the world. Oh, that's a bad place to play. Is St. Bonaventure out in Olean, New York.
Yep. Johnnies are 16-6 this
year.
Yeah.
And I mean,
they lost 3 out of their last 5.
They've had injuries.
Yeah.
They got a guard that's injured. Fordham on the road. Fordham's played some teams tough this year.
Scrappy. They're definitely scrappy. Keith Ergo gets his boys to play for him. They don't quit. He's been there, I think, this is his 4th year, and he gets his boys playing.
And that's a tough place to. I mean, you got to recruit kids to go to play in the Bronx.
Sure.
To play in a gym that's 735 years old. We saw a game there
literally
together.
They didn't even have bathrooms.
Dude, we saw him play George Mason.
Yeah.
That's probably, and they had a team. They had good players. They had that transfer from
they won. Quisenberry,
the kid from Georgia Tech.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. They were.
Yeah,
good.
they had good players. But talk about a tough place to play. Oh my God, that's like a bona fide Albany Armory.
Exactly.
That's a tough place to play down there. But we have some other games, some Sun Belt games, Georgia State, App State. Then we get into another game at 1 o'clock that's interesting. You got Missouri and Mississippi State. Mississippi State coming off that bad loss the other day. Missouri's tough. Missouri's one of those teams in the SEC. Not really an SEC team. Yeah. I still think of them as a Big 12 team. But they're going to Mississippi State. You don't want to play Missouri. It's just a team you don't want to play.
No, 100%. They're playing like they were back in the late 90s with was it Anthony Peeler back in the day when Mizzou had a squad. You know what? We mentioned it last week. The SEC is the college basketball conference right now. That's the elite one. These two teams are tough. Miss State though 3-7, Howie, against the number of their last 10. So I think you look at a team like Mizzou, maybe getting points on the road, take them. And maybe drop a little money line if they're getting points. They might not.
They've covered on the road a few times this year as decent dogs.
Yep.
Missouri has. Another game I'm going to look at. This is kind of wild, but
they were
Green
getting
Bay
10.5 at Florida, and they won the game by 1. Missouri.
Yeah, Missouri did.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the game.
Mm-hmm.
Another game I'm going to look at is
Arizona State.
Green Bay's playing Detroit.
Okay, and all right. Not in football.
Yeah, you're like, what the? Listen, Detroit, which used to be Detroit Mercy, and I don't even know what the hell that Mercy ever stood for.
Was that Dickie V, right? Dick Vitale.
Dickie V.
He coached there, right?
Sure did. I actually played in the men's league down in Atlanta, and we had a 6'7", 260-pound. He was a beast. It was soft hands. Our big guy in the middle, Gary Fields, played under Dickie V at Detroit. And he played the same high school as George Gerving in Detroit.
Iceman.
He was a beast. But he used to tell funny stories about Dickie V. Dickie had some good teams there. But Detroit is a team. Watch them this year if you're listening. You want to make money. They get blown out in the road. And I don't care how many points they're getting or whatever. At home, look at how they play at home. They play everybody tough at home. That's a game that I'll look at. I got to look more into it. 1 o'clock, you got Big East, Creighton at Villanova. What do you think that line's going to be? I wouldn't be surprised to see Villanova like -2.5, -3. What do you think?
At home in Philly, yeah, I agree. Creighton isn't the team that they've been the last few years. Coach McDermott and company. He's always got a competitive team, and they're right around that number, 15-6 this year. And Villanova's kind of been an up and down team with Kyle Neptune trying to take over for a legend in Jay Wright. But I don't know. I would have to say Nova's got to be laying 3+ here in this game. I would take the Wildcats at home. It's going to be a tough game, 1 o'clock.
Yeah. And let's get to the game you just talked about. And Arizona, who's been on absolute fire lately, playing probably better than anybody in the country. They're going to Bobby Hurley's Arizona State.
Yep.
Who I took last week against, who were they playing? They had a huge lead and blew it.
Colorado?
No, they beat
Iowa State.
Iowa State.
Yeah.
Iowa State. They had a big lead, playing great.
Lost by 15.
Yeah, they got blown out. The last 6 minutes were a disaster. And Iowa State's good. But Arizona going to Arizona State, talk about a rivalry. This place will be packed.
Yep.
There will be bottles thrown.
And
you know what? I can see Arizona State probably +8, +9, maybe +10 at home. And I'll play Arizona State. I'll take him at home again. A little bit.
I'm with you on the Sun Devils. Caleb Love, he was a former Tar Heel. He's been up and down this year. Hit a buzzer beater on Tuesday night, so they were flying high, winning that game in overtime against Iowa State. But yeah, I could see Bobby Hurley. I thought he would be doing more by now with how many years he's been at Arizona State, especially you're recruiting to Arizona State. Like, you're an 18-year-old kid. You're telling me you go to that campus once, you're not hooked?
Dude, plus, you don't have to worry about classes or anything. They give you a coloring book at Arizona State.
Literally,
Here you go.
a coloring book.
You got a big biology assignment. Draw 3 stick figures. Yeah.
Draw a fish.
It's Arizona State.
Yeah.
No offense to anyone that goes there, but
a blue duck.
It's like special ed university.
I drew a blue duck because I wanted to see a blue duck, Howard.
Yeah. So maybe it's the NIL. They got to get some more money there, but they have a couple kids that can play. We've talked about it before. They could keep this game close, possibly upset.
Yep.
Look, we go back to the SEC at 2:00. Auburn, #1 in the country, playing Mississippi, University of Mississippi at Mississippi. It's going to be packed. Everybody's out for blood on Auburn. What do you think?
Howie, Mississippi State, if they lose this game, will be 5 loss. No, they did win against Texas.
Wait, this is Mississippi, not Mississippi State.
I'm sorry, Ole Miss. Ole Miss. Yeah, they're losers of 3 out of their last 4. Did come back and beat Texas the other night at home. So back-to-back home games. We talked about him last week. Chris Beard, he's a tough coach, a good X's and O's guy. I don't know, man. Right now, I think Auburn is on a mission. I think Bruce Pearl he's got his best team in a while here. I know it's going to be a tough environment, but I would take the Tigers.
Yeah, probably. It's sad. The only person you got to feel bad for is Chris Beard's wife after he loses this game. She's going to be in the stands just praying, Jesus, can we please get an upset? Really.
I've been looking forward to another black eye.
No, I've been concussed 16 times in the past 5 years. I don't need this anymore. We go down. We have a lot of mid-major, smaller games. One team I've been betting in winning, both teams. This is kind of weird, but I have Army playing at America. Army, I like Army at home. We hit them the other night, won. And American, believe it or not, is one of the best teams they've had in probably 20 years. Some of you are like, American? Yeah, it's a school in Washington, D.C.
Yep. 7-2 at home against the number in their last 9. Army 4-5 away in their last 9.
Yeah, so I'll probably but American's going to be laying probably 9.5, 10.
It'll be a number.
I can see that. Looking down, another game. Look, I would hate to be Kansas State coming off that win, playing at Iowa State at 2:00 on Saturday. That could be ugly. Or actually, I think did Kansas State win the other night? I think they did.
Last night. Wasn't it last night?
No, 2 nights ago. I think 2 or 3.
Hold on.
They
beat Oklahoma State, and then they
by that game was they were up by 30, I think, at the half.
They won by 18. Yeah. Or wait a minute. Hold up. I'm not a mathematician here, Howie.
They got spanked.
28? Did they win?
Yeah, it was bad.
28?
It was ridiculous.
Shit.
But Oklahoma State is just horrible. But I would hate to be going. Iowa State could probably win this game by 30. It's just the way. These guards will have a field day.
Let's be. Kansas State isn't scoring more than 65 points in this game. Iowa State will probably be a big favorite here at home. I think we'll go with the Cyclones.
Yeah, how do you bet against them? Another interesting game at 3:30 on Saturday in New Jersey. You got the Michigan Wolverines coming into Rutgers. Rutgers coming off that big win at Northwestern where the kid, what do you have, like 35?
Getting almost 10 in that one, too, won by 7.
Yeah, I mean, Rutgers is the most schizophrenic team. Steve Pikiell's had trouble getting these guys to play defense this year, getting some chemistry. You got two of the top freshmen in the country. I don't know. I truthfully, I can see Rutgers winning this game. The line's going to be close. The line's going to be close to even, I would think.
I agree.
Could be very close. I would lean to it. Maybe Rutgers can go on a 4 or 5 game winning streak here. But I like them. They seem to finally start playing a little bit. Another game I really like here is University of Georgia coming off the big win at home. Has to go to Alabama.
Yeah, we mentioned them a lot.
They can't play on the road, man.
No, can't on the road.
They could get absolutely shellacked at Alabama. And look for that line to be 12, 13. It's probably going to be high.
Yeah, over-under will probably be high, too. Alabama loves to get up and down.
I'll give you a game right now. It's a rivalry game, and I don't think it'll be close. But you go on to Richmond, Virginia. You have Richmond playing VCU. VCU coming off that loss at St. Louis where – did you see the melee in the stands during that game?
Yeah, unreal.
They were swinging. I looked over, and there was like a 75-year-old guy throwing roundhouses. Like
they don't mess around down in Richmond.
Oh, no, they're all rednecks and, they're drunk on moonshine and shit. And it spilled over, and I'm talking, that fight went on for like 10 minutes. The cops couldn't do shit. Old ladies were getting punched. That was nuts.
How many games are there Saturday, Howie? Like 176?
There is like 4,000 games Saturday.
4,000 games.
Yeah, we're up to 4 o'clock, but VCU is probably going to be -7 or 8, and I like them to coming off that loss. I think they put it on Richmond, and there's probably more fights.
Yeah.
I think there'll be more fights.
Let's get it.
Which is fine, because that's what we need.
Yep.
And I'll give you one right here. 4 o'clock, you have Brigham Young, who's been smacking teams at home. They got to go to Central Florida. They got to go down to Florida. Not a lot of Mormons in Florida.
Johnny Dawkins still coaching UCF?
Has a good team. They're decent.
Yeah.
They're decent. I like them. I actually like Central Florida at home. Look for the possible upset. BYU's probably, I would think they'll be a few points a favorite.
Yeah. 1-4 against the number in their last 5 is BYU on the road.
What do you think of this game at 4:30? Michigan State, been playing well. They're going to USC out in LA. What do you think of that?
You know what? I'm not sold on USC this year. I think they're very inconsistent. You got Eric Musselman trying to turn that program back around or turn it around. I don't know that USC's ever really been much of a basketball school per se. Michigan State's been playing good basketball this year, Howie. I think Tom Izzo's got his best team in a number of years here, and Michigan State's going to be laying some wood on the road, but I would go Sparty in this one.
Can't bet against them.
No, not right now.
I'll tell you what, 6 o'clock, you got Texas Tech, number 22, going into Houston.
Good game.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Houston, I won't bet against him at home. I don't care if the line's 76. I'll take Houston at home. I'll be surprised. I would like to see the over-under for Texas Tech's team of total.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, I'll take the under because, man, Houston, that statistic that Houston on 25% of their opposing team's possessions, they turn the ball over. 25% of the time, they turn the ball over. That's insane.
They held Utah to 36 points 3 games ago. 36 in a 40-minute game.
I mean, that's just absolutely insane. The defense they play, they're quick. They play well together. They were down 6 last week with like 14 seconds to go, still won the game. I won't bet against Houston. It's like you said on Michigan State. I won't bet against them.
Yep.
I'll tell you what, UConn, 8 o'clock Saturday night, going to Marquette. I will not bet UConn at all the rest of the year.
Done.
This is not,
Done. Stay away. they're going on the road. They're going to play Marquette, who's playing good basketball right now, 18-3 this year. And UConn just isn't the team that they were the last 2 years. They don't have the horses that they've had in years past.
Yeah, and they do have some injuries. They have some problems.
2-8 against the number in their last 10, 3-5 on the road.
Yeah. I'd do this next game. I would love, Syracuse going to Cal. What a shit game.
Holy shit.
10 p.m. Cuse gets to go to California.
I think they played Cal the other night. Or no, Stanford. I'm sorry, Stanford. So, yeah, they played Stanford the other night, so they stayed in the left coast for a couple nights here. But they lost by 11 to a shitty Stanford team.
Yeah.
I don't know. Cuse ain't Cuse.
Well, yeah, they got to play Stojakovic's kid.
Yeah.
In California.
And, Steph Marbury's kid's on that team, too. I don't think he plays very much. But, yeah, a couple of ex-NBAers got their kids.
Stojakovic's kid, he could play.
Yeah, no, he could shoot it. I think he's a freshman, isn't he?
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
He's a good player.
Yep.
Yeah, Cuse is in trouble.
Yeah, trouble.
For a school that big, the NIL checkbook should be open. It's like, come on, go out, get whoever you want. I don't quite get I know they've had major problems with that school president because they
pissed off a lot of people how he let Boeheim go. That big money, what's his name, the scrap guy?
The waste management guy.
Yeah, why can't I think of his name right now?
That guy was giving $1 million checks to everybody.
Millions.
And the president said, get rid of him. Come on, it's 2025.
25. We're in 2025. Yeah.
I'll tell you, final game I like Saturday night. I like this game. You got Gonzaga going to St. Mary's. They'll be a favorite. Gonzaga doesn't have the team they're decent, but St. Mary's has a good squad, and they're playing at home. Not a big gym. The place will be bedlam. I think St. Mary's can upset Gonzaga. That's Saturday night. Now, listen, we're giving these plays up, but when you join the Degenerate Gamblers, you join the Discord, you go to Whop.com, you become a member, you get to talk to these guys all over the country. We won't play every game. We will whittle these games down, and we'll pick our probably top 7 to 10 plays. Some will have more units on than others. But look, man, it's college hoop season, man. You got it. $24.99 a month. You got to join, brother. You got to join. This is where the info comes. It's coming down the line. We get into the tournaments. We'll go to a few of these games. We'll have some live broadcasts. That's what we'll do. But you got anything else there, Steve?
No, I'm good, Howie. Let's have a weekend.
Dude, we're going to crush this weekend. I got a good feeling about it. I think we're going to see some dogs win. We may see some upsets, but we're going to bank.
Let's go.
All right, brother.
All right, Howie. Degenerates, have a weekend.